Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the mega entrepreneur. She came to Dallas from Amarillo with just $200 in her pocket, and she has become a serial entrepreneur, creating half a dozen businesses. You're not going to want to miss this next segment. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, one day they're going to make a movie out of my next guest. You remember Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith? I love that movie because it is grit and tenacity and overcoming obstacles, and that perfectly defines my next guest, Tawanna Fields, the mega entrepreneur. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us the story. You're born and raised in Amarillo, is that where you're from?
Well, I was born in Memphis, Texas.
Okay.
And then I was raised in Amarillo.
And then what brings you to the big city of Dallas?
Opportunity. There's nothing to do in Amarillo. But it's a great place to live and raise a family, but it just wasn't for me.
And you had $200 in your pocket, and what was your intention? When you came to Dallas, what were you going to do?
Start my own business.
All right, tell us about that business.
I wanted to start a catering company because I grew up with my grandmothers, and they all cooked, and my mom cooked. And I wanted to do something with food because I love food.
Well, you were telling me this story right before the show. It was not an overnight success. It was not instant.
Oh, no, it wasn't. So I moved here with the $200, and I said, I want to buy some food and go sell plate lunches. So I went out and started trying to sell these plate lunches every day. I would go out at 10 o'clock. And go to all the car dealerships on I-20 and couldn't sell not one plate lunch. And I would go back home and cry myself to sleep. And something woke me up and said, give it away.
So who did you give it away to?
So I woke up, warmed the food up, and went out and started giving it to the homeless people.
Wow.
And every day, for 4 days.
But God was watching, God was smiling on you. So what happened?
And so on the 5th day, I was blessed. The same car dealership I go to every single day that told me no. The general manager met me at the door that day, and he said, little lady, you come here every day, and you don't sell not one plate. And I laughed, and I said, but one day I'm going to sell a plate here. And he asked me what I had, and I told him I had chicken fettuccine, green beans, corn, roll, and chocolate cake. And he says, I'm going to buy this plate, but if it's not good, I don't want you back on the lot. And I said, okay. And so he gets the plate, and he's like, oh, this chicken fettuccine is good. He said, your grandma made it? And I was like, no. He said, your mama made it? Because I'm like only 18, so I'm like really looking young. And I said, no, I did. He said, look, you don't have to lie to me. I am going to buy the plate. And I said, yeah, but I made this. And my cousin was with me, and she says, yes, she made the plate. And so he says, okay, well, how many plates you have? So that day we had like 60 plates. And so he bought all the plates.
Oh, my goodness.
And so there was a lady there from the police department. And she says, I want one of those plates. I'm hungry. I've been here all day waiting on the car. And so she gets the plate, and she says, oh, this is good chicken fettuccine. And she looks at me, and she says, I have a job for you. And I just roll my eyes in the back of my head because I wasn't thinking about a job.
Right.
And she said, can you cook for 250 people?
Wow.
And I said, yes. I just blurted out, yes. And they were good with 250 people. I mean, my mom has a big family, but I've never cooked for 250 people. But I just blurted out, yes.
Wow.
And she says, well, my caterer just canceled when you came in the door. And she said that she liked my demeanor and how I interacted with the guy. And she said she wanted to give me this opportunity.
That's amazing.
Right.
And it just kind of takes off from there. But
takes off from there.
You're not just a caterer. You're in several different businesses. Let's go ahead and pull up your website so we can scroll down the website and talk about the different industries you're in. You said before the show, transportation, Amazon.
So it started with Tawanna's Creations and more catering. And then, catering is a seasonal thing. So I said, okay, God, I need something else to do. And the lady that was cleaning for me every day, because I cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner out of a one-bedroom apartment, and I was crying to her, and she says, Tawanna, why don't you start a cleaning service? I was like, nah. I said, my mom, growing up, my mom was like OCD. Our house is like super, super clean, right? And I was like, nah. So that night I went to bed, and I prayed about it, and I said, God, what about a cleaning service? So he sent me this vision. And that name was long, Tawanna's Ultra Spick and Span Cleaner. And today I'd be like, oh my gosh, signing all this stuff. But I said, so if I wake up in the morning, that's what you want me to do. So I woke up that next morning, and that vision was there for this flyer to be created by me.
Wow. And it's taken off from there. And I think you said you're also the dump truck business?
So this is Tawanna's Ultra Spick and Span Cleaning, so we do make-readies for realtors. And then after that, the dump truck company came.
Wow.
But, I had a restaurant in the middle of that, and I lost it all. And so that's how I came up with this dump truck. God's Angels blessed me with 11 dump trucks with a women's minority grant.
Unbelievable.
Right. So I got into the dump truck business. That's still going well. And then after that, Black Diamond came, the luxury transportation company, where we do all the celebrities and normal people that I love, and
it's beautiful.
yeah, Uber was one of those things as well. I started it. So I was crying to my friend. I said, look, I don't want to do the plate lunches anymore. I hadn't gotten burnt out, but I had 8 drivers at that time, and then they were about to be out of a job. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have families, bills. And my friend's like, Tawanna, why don't you look into Uber? I said, what the heck is Uber? And so that night I went home and I looked up Uber and I signed up, and they approved me the same night. So I said, okay, I'm going to go out the next day and drive around and see what this is like. So I go driving around my Jeep, and the rides are like $3 or $4. I was like, we ain't gonna make no money. But then if it's surge, it could be $200 or $300, because this is when they first started. They had this secret surge thing going on.
Yes.
And so if it surged, you can make $200 or $300.
Wow.
Right? And so I did it for 30 days, and then I go and I talk with Uber. I say, hey, I'm trying to bring in 8 drivers, but I'm doing this Uber X thing. There's just not enough money for me. And they said, well, we have a fleet program, but you have to come in with black-on-black vehicles. I said, oh, okay. So send my guy to the auction, get me a Suburban, drive that on black for 30 days. I was like, oh. So you get a ride from downtown to the airport, that's $150. Mm-hmm. You get one out the airport, that's another $150 within an hour.
Wow.
I said, we're kicking it. And so then a football game comes, and the highest ride I had from AT&T Stadium to Frisco was $1,200. Wow. It was an hour and 45-minute ride, and the guy had no clue that it was going to be that much. And I felt so bad for him. I was like, Uber, look, I don't have to have all of this. And he was like, no, he knows, because I felt bad for the guy, right?
Sure.
And so I said, okay, well, this might work. This Uber Black.
I'm so impressed with you. There's a television show that I saw you on, and then I saw this wonderful article. Let's go ahead and pull up the article and scroll down the article. So you've had a fair bit of notoriety in the media. What does that feel like to be on the news?
It's a beautiful thing. My thing is I love entrepreneurs, and if I can reach the world, the people that want to be an entrepreneur, that's what I'm here for, right? So I don't get all this stuff for publicity and fame. I want to help others on this journey, right?
Yes.
So I just, want to get the story out, because I came from nothing. I got it out the mud. Yes. Because a lot of people think that, I came from, like a lot of money. And people say, oh, your family has money, so that's the reason why you can have all these things. And that's not the case. And God is the main source here, right?
Amen.
And then I believed in myself, and then faith. So if I can do it, a little country girl from Memphis, Texas, then you can too.
I'm so inspired by you, and I'm so glad that you shared it. She wrote a best-selling book. We're going to put the cover on the screen, From a Trunk to Owning Several Trunks. I love that name, by the way, because that refers back to you coming to Dallas with a trunk of plate
So
lunches.
people always say, "Oh, I don't think you're saying that right." I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm saying it right. It's from a trunk," because I started selling plate lunches out my trunk, now to owning several trunks.
And it's so beautiful. We've only got a couple minutes left, so I know there are people watching this who are discouraged. Maybe they're having a tough time in life, and your whole journey is a testament to it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
That's right.
So talk to the person who's wrestling with some things right now. Give them some words of encouragement.
God has to be first. No matter what you do, God has to be first. I've done a lot of praying, a lot of crying, blood, sweat, and tears on this journey. And most of all, you have to believe in yourself and put in the hard work. You have to go to work. You have to do it. And then faith. My faith has been in God 100%.
Wow, I can certainly see why God has richly blessed your life, and there's much more to come. You're still you're a young lady. You got a lot to do. Well, thank you so much for sharing your inspirational story with us. I could talk to you all day. We're going to end with her website, which is TawannaFields.com. Tawanna Fields. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.